Hello, my name is Sarah Paisley, and I am a Nebraska Extension 4-H Youth Development Educator in Garden and Morrill counties found in the Panhandle. Prior to my experience in Extension, I was an FFA instructor. I quickly recognized the need for youth to be organized and follow parliamentary rules in FFA meetings. After beginning my work in Extension, I continued to see the need for councils and 4-H clubs to use Parley Pro. Many of you may be wondering, what is Parley Pro? Parliamentary Procedure, or Parley Pro, is the practice of running a meeting according to the rules set forth by Robert's Rules of Order. All types of meetings can benefit from these practices by allowing efficient use of time while still allowing even the youngest members to get involved and decisions to be made efficiently. The major goals of Parley Pro are to extend courtesy to everyone, focus on one thing at a time, meaning only one topic can be discussed at a time, observe the rule of the majority, but also ensure the rights of the minority. This is an important thing to remember, as we always want everyone to have the chance to be heard. Getting started can be a daunting task though, especially if you really don't know where to start. Success starts with a good agenda, and other rules will start to fall into place. A very general 4-H meeting agenda can be found on the Nebraska 4-H Meeting Resources page. Using this will help your meetings stay more organized and consistent. Items at the beginning of the agenda are reports that are read and then approved. For instance, the secretary's minutes and treasurer's reports should be approved by the group with a motion to approve as read. This is a good starting point for many of the younger members because you can slip them a piece of paper to read directly off of. Approval of the minutes or financial report would be stated, "I move to approve the minutes as read," or "I move to approve the treasurer's report." These would then be followed by a second from another member and voted on by the entire group. Old and new business items can be brought up by either the president, leader, or another member by a short discussion on the issue at hand. For instance, you may need to hold a service learning project. The president can start with, "It is time for us to develop a service learning project," or give a little more detailed introduction, such as, "The trees at the fairgrounds were removed due to storm damage. Our group could do the research, select trees, and plant some new ones." The initial discussion is meant to bring about ideas. A voting member would then need to follow up with a motion, such as, "I move to research, select, and plant trees at the fairground." In order for any other discussion to take place, a second would be required by another member, and then discussion could begin. The most difficult part for Parley Pro, especially for adults, is to make sure there is a motion before you start discussion. An important step is to teach all members how to correctly receive recognition by the president. Work with members on how to stand and respectfully call out Mr. or Madam President or Mr. or Madam Chairperson, and wait to be recognized by the chair. The president would then respond with, "Chair recognizes Susie." At that point, Susie may continue with her motion or discussion. Presidents need to be encouraged to select everyone to speak, not just their friends. A rule that you might need to enforce with youth, but maybe at your council meetings, is that each person is only allowed to debate each motion twice. This ensures everyone has a chance to talk without spending your entire meeting on one topic. Presidents can discuss a motion, but must remove themselves from the chair in order to discuss. It is unfair for them to voice their opinions, as many will follow just because they are in that position of power. All main motions will start with, "I move to." Each member then has the right to discuss 2 times on the main motion and vote for or against. When it comes time to voting during your meeting, there are 2 different types of voting, majority or 2/3. Most of the time you will use majority, but there are some instances where you need to protect the rights of the minority and use a 2/3 vote. There are different types of votes that you can use, for instance a voice vote, the yeas and nays. You can also raise your hand or stand up. There's also a roll call, which is usually only used when you have a minimum number of people present, and a secret ballot, which is traditionally used for voting. new members into office. The one question we get a lot is, can the chairperson vote? And yes, they can, but they need to be a member of the group, and they can only vote if they are trying to break a tie or force a tie. Some basic terms that we're going to need to know as we continue with this process is that germane means to pertain to the topic at hand. All discussion needs to stay germane as we go through our meeting in order to make sure that it is efficient. A quorum is going to be half of the members of the club plus one, and it is the minimum needed to make the business legal. We also have to have a majority of the quorum vote in order to make motions pass. We also see that the gavel is a symbol of power, and the youth love to play with it and tap it whenever they can. However, we only use the gavel to show when decisions have been made, reclaim order, and aid in transitions. We see that the gavel taps have very distinct requirements. One tap means we adjourn the meeting, complete business items, or we need to have members seated, especially after the pledge. We also have 2 taps, which calls the meeting to order, 3 taps to have members stand, and a series of taps restores order to a meeting if it ever gets out of hand. You will see many slides like this on our website, where you will find many resources to aid you with the teaching of Parley Pro. Each slide will walk you through the purpose of the motion, how it will be carried out by youth or adults, and any special notes that might aid you with making sure that it is carried out properly. For all of these resources and more information on Parley Pro, go to our 4hunl.edu resources, and it will be found in the Club Leaders section.